80% of recent car buyers are cowards terrified by difference. Looking around you, you've certainly already noticed the frightening truth. 80% of new cars from factories are black, white, or gray. Axalta and PPG, two major automotive paint suppliers, reported the following. Yet there was a time when the streets were real living canvases, dressed in bright and varied hues. Today, this brilliance drowns in a sea of banality, where bland white, anonymous black, and austere gray dominate. The height of contradiction is that with modern industrial techniques, our roads could be the playground of a color palette richer than ever before. However, our streets tell a different tale. The simplistic reason to explain this phenomenon would be to say that buyers are cautious and choose consensual colors to maintain the value of their vehicle the day they will have to resell it. This ready-made answer simplifies things and allows us to end the video now. However, we're not here to take the easy way out. What's really interesting is understanding why. In this video, we'll explore the reasons behind vehicle color standardization and try to understand the disappearance of colorful cars. Ultimate green, hugger orange, Norfolk mustard. Now that's color. Well, today we must admit that these bright colors are no longer very present on our roads. From the automobile's inception, color has played a crucial role. So you're going to tell me that pioneer Henry Ford had made sure to limit the choices for his Ford T customers? Ford's famous quote about offering the Model T in any color as long as it was black was primarily to maintain production efficiency. In the early days of the automobile, cars were painted with slow-drying oil paints. Ford was producing 2 million vehicles annually, surpassing its competitors. It had to be efficient on the production line and was also cheaper. Ford had decided not to provide warranties for repainted Model Ts. Color in the automobile is of course a question of fashion, but it is also, and above all, relative to the era. We all have in mind the colorful cars of the 20s, also known as the Roaring Twenties, which was a period of great excitement and optimism in the Western world. This decade saw major changes with the end of World War I. The era's optimism influenced car colors. The 20s was the decade of large-scale automobile, and the car became a symbol of status and freedom, which was also expressed through color. Green, pastel blue, brown, and red were popular colors for vehicles, which often featured shiny finishes and artistic details. The vibrant colors and design of cars mirrored the era's exuberance and zest for life. But this period of prosperity and excess was abruptly interrupted by the stock market crash of 1929. The Great Depression began in the 1930s, a decade characterized by economic hardship and austerity. This was reflected in the car colors of the time, which became more discreet and less extravagant, until the Second World War, where obviously the mood was not at all festive. After the war, cars did not immediately regain their color. We were in a period of mourning, and the few people who could afford a car preferred not to stand out too much. After World War II, we experienced the 30 glorious years, a period of great prosperity and optimism. After the hardships of war, people were eager to embrace life, leading to an explosion of vibrant colors. Cars on the roads boasted vivid colors like turquoise, pink, and yellow. It was an era of celebrating life and the potential for a brighter future. Alas, all good things must end. And when the mid-70s brought its share of oil and economic crises, cars took a more sober turn. The bright colors gave way to more earthy tones and neutral shades, once again in response to economic uncertainty. Since then, cars have become more practical and less lavish, with colors reflecting this shift. Subtle shades became popular because buyers were more inclined towards austerity and caution. The 90s saw economic optimism and advancements in automotive manufacturing, which brought the brighter and slightly bolder tones back to the roads. It was even the period when the color purple was at the height of its popularity, a time when people believed in long-term prosperity. The year 2000 marked the start of significant technological advancements and the rise of major fashion trends. Gray and silver metallic colors led the way, bringing a modern touch that echoed the world's technological leaps. Several events, including the 2008 financial crisis, shook us. Afterward, the cars of average people became even more modest. Black, gray, white, and neutral tones have regained prominence. People exercised greater caution in their financial decisions and car color choices. So, indeed, today, the majority of buyers turn to very basic colors to secure their investment in a car and ensure they can resell it without too much difficulty. The rising average age of new vehicle buyers is also attributed to the changing purchasing context, as cars are becoming more expensive. This may explain their reluctance to lose their stake. Conservative colors may resonate better with a certain age demographic. Leasing and rentals have also become much more popular, and inevitably so. The color has an impact on the monthly rent price, since it will have an effect on the resale value at the end of the lease. Furthermore, long wait times for new cars from factories are forcing resellers and dealers to increase their inventory. To ensure stock sells, they choose colors they are certain will sell: black, gray, white. So the question that arises is, why these colors? Colors are more than just shades on a palette. They are the silent language of our culture and carry within them deep meanings inherited from centuries of art beliefs and psychology. Each color tells a story that shapes our emotions, perceptions, and the Western world in a way we often overlook. Red is the perfect color to embody passion and power. In color psychology, it evokes strong emotions like courage and dynamism. British regiments, for example, wore red uniforms to demonstrate their bravery on the battlefield. But red isn't just for war, it also represents love, seduction, and desire, which is why it's found on dresses and lips. As seen in my previous Alfa Romeo video, it's unsurprising to find it among the most sporty and desirable cars. Historically, blue symbolized royalty and wealth, especially the precious and expensive ultramarine blue. Today, blue evokes serenity and confidence, inspiring stability. It's commonly found in logos for companies, banks, and insurance. It's fitting that blue, a color associated with Ford's identity, is featured on their vehicles known for being robust and reliable. Yellow, one of the least popular colors for cars, has a somewhat more difficult history. Since the 12th century in Christian art, yellow has been associated with betrayal, as Judas was often depicted wearing a yellow robe. In modern culture, yellow remains a vibrant color, symbolizing optimism and energy. The color is more commonly seen on rare or exotic cars today. Despite this, it remains one of the most visible shades. In contrast to black, which is popular because it represents the opposite, black symbolizes mystery, elegance, and prestige, a sophisticated and timeless color. The garment is also linked to authority and dignity, being worn at significant life events. Black, the color of darkness, expresses power, which explains the trend of full black cars seen today. Gray and white are also very popular, and it's not a coincidence. White represents purity. In fact, this is one reason why this color was initially very associated with electric vehicles. Gray symbolizes neutrality and wisdom. Frequently used in business for its professional, timeless appearance, it represents maturity, knowledge, technique, and technology. Gray is one of the top 3 colors for car paint work. It's one of the best shades to accentuate a vehicle's body contours. That's why we use Dynoc, a silver film, on models during the design phase in the industry to better understand the volumes. As you can see through all these examples, colors are not just shades on a palette, they are symbols rooted in our culture. They have evolved over the centuries, reflecting the values and beliefs of each era. Today, color psychology shapes our choices and perceptions in the automotive industry, advertising, and our daily lives. Each of these colors tells a story that resonates deeply within us. But if classic shades are perceived as a better choice by buyers, should we definitely rule out standout colors? The public is increasingly favoring bland colors over flashy ones. Manufacturers also reduce options, contributing to a sea of mundane vehicles in parking lots. Tesla, for instance, offers only black, white, gray, dark blue, or red color options. This trend of limiting color choices is growing among all mainstream automakers. But on the other hand, it opens up an opportunity associated with the rise of covering, which allows you to change color quickly without redoing a complete paint job or altering the original characteristics of the car. We observe that the sportiest and most high-end models stand out by retaining visible, even extravagant colors. At the same time, it's normal when you buy a Mustang, a Lamborghini, or a big German car. It's certainly not to go unnoticed. Owners of these kinds of passion cars are more comfortable with standing out and being different. Let me know what you think in the comments. I believe a nice color and configuration can totally enhance a car's style and make it stand out. I have a fondness for Dodge's Striker Red, which I recently discovered. It reminds me of the deep cherry paints used on hot rods. The bronze shades on some models, and especially the famous British Racing Green, particularly when paired with a camel interior. As a reaction to the standardization of the car fleet, Fiat announced it will only sell colorful cars from this year. The grey has ended. This decision has 2 advantages, as it fits perfectly with the brand's Dolce Vita philosophy and it will allow it to stand out. Let's hope it's a success and that it brings a bit of cheerfulness back to the car park. Friends, if you've stayed until the end of the video, I'm going to ask you to subscribe. Nearly 90% of our video viewers aren't subscribed to the channel. My last video got 200,000 views in a week, and I really thank you for that. But I'm sure there are many of you who are not yet subscribed, so I'm counting on you. If you haven't done so already, and give me your opinion on this video in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.